Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, we're going to be talking about the Valentine Sheriff, Curtis Malloy, and how he has a dark secret that not a lot of people know about that we are going to be unveiling in this video today. So if you'd like to uncover this mystery for yourself, it's best to be in Chapter 2 before you've completed the mission Good Honest Snake Oil. Good Honest Snake Oil is like the one bounty mission that you have to do. It's one where you'll actually get a cutscene for visiting Sheriff Malloy at the Valentine Sheriff office. And essentially, he asks you to catch a guy. His name is Benedict Albright or something along those lines. Now, the bounty itself is not important, but it's the start of what reveals the entire secret to our story. So once you've spoken to the sheriff and once he's told you about who to go acquire for the bounty, that's exactly what you want to do. And essentially, long story short, you catch Benedict Albright and then you need to bring him to the Valentine Sheriff Department. However, before you bring him inside, you can actually notice that there is a lady talking to Curtis Malloy, the Valentine Sheriff. Now, it's a little bit hard to see because if you go inside, it would spook them and it would trigger the cutscene. So if you go in first person, you can see that he is sitting down at the main table and that he is talking to a nice-looking lady. You can see she's wearing a hat. She's got a red vest on. It seems kind of interesting, though. Like, why would this lady be talking to the sheriff right there? And things get even a little bit more interesting when we bring Benedict Albright inside. Take a listen to this.
Oh, my lord. I wasn't expecting you back so soon. Mrs. Calthorpe was just leaving.
Sure. Where you want him?
Cell in the back.
Okay, so we find out that that is Miss Calthorpe, and you guys can see there that they're both standing pretty awkward, especially the sheriff. He's looking around like, oh, I hope no one sees us in here. So something pretty interesting is going on. And then, of course, you have to deliver the bounty that you had into the cell, and it will trigger this cutscene.
There's been some terrible mistake. I never did it. Any of it.
I thought I told you to shut up, partner.
But I told
But
you.
nothing. Shut up. And, good luck. It's been real fun.
You ain't much of a man. You ask folks for forgiveness, you remember this, partner?
I've already forgotten. Now, sure, how much was you offering?
$50. Here.
Thank you. Madam.
Please, remember what I told you.
So Arthur says his goodbyes to the sheriff and Mrs. Calthorpe, and then everyone leaves, including her. And then you can actually have an interesting conversation, or I should say you can overhear an interesting conversation with the sheriff and Mrs. Calthorpe. So the sheriff actually lives above the sheriff office, in case you guys are curious. And after that encounter, if you go upstairs, you'll hear this. It's very, very creepy.
How do you want me to be? I love you. You don't love anyone. Not me, not your wife, no one.
Oh, you're impossible.
Impossible? Really? I've wasted years on you and I'm impossible.
You're married too. You can be impossible.
Impossible. You are a sad little small-town, self-important rat of a man. You know that? A rat. A rat who thinks he's a cat. That's your problem. Go to hell.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys were listening closely there, but we got a lot of details. So it seems that the sheriff is having a secret affair with a married woman. That married woman is Moria. I don't know how you pronounce her name, Calthorpe. She seems to be married too. So the sheriff is married, Maria is married, and they're both having an affair with each other. However, what's creepy is they both seem like they got into an argument, and it sounds as if the sheriff actually drowned her or choked her or did something, murdered her. Do we have a murder mystery on our hands? That's really what it sounds like right there. Now, I certainly don't want to spoil this mystery before we even unravel it, but that is actually the final time in which you physically hear or see from Mrs. Calthorpe ever again. So after that encounter where it sounds like she was getting strangled or whatnot, we don't ever see or hear from her again. Okay, that's raising a lot of red flags. Now, after that encounter, I was curious to see if there was an interior into this upstairs of the sheriff's station. So I ended up grabbing my lantern and seeing if I could get inside. Unfortunately, there is no interior. So it looks like Rockstar just programmed those voices to appear inside because there is no extra room that we can actually go and see. So a little bit unfortunate right there. But again, not shocking. Now, after I did that, I returned to the sheriff to see if he would have any unique lines of dialogue, either mentioning Miss Calthorpe or talking to us to say, you better not tell anyone what you heard. But I didn't get anything of the like. He was just simply staring into one of the cells, and that was it. However, we get a lot more information on this entire story, and this starts with collecting the next bounty. The next bounty is Eliane Swan. Eliane Swan is a bounty that you can collect for $25. She is needed to be captured alive. So again, long story short, the bounty itself really doesn't matter. You just need to collect her and bring her to the Valentine Sheriff office. However, once you bring her inside, this is when things start to get kind of interesting. Take a listen to this.
You order a lady killer here, Sheriff?
Yeah, we did. Put her in the cell, won't you?
I protest my innocence. I protest my innocence.
She might be a little shaken up. She lost another feller out by the falls.
Poor dear.
Men just got a habit of dying around you, don't they, Mrs. Swan? The Black Widow herself. This town's so starved of women, I'm sure she could find herself a husband yet.
That's cowboys for you.
Indeed.
That man has a heart of stone. It's silly to keep me locked up in here. I mean, what am I gonna do? Just little old me. Let me out to exercise a little.
I'm immune to your charms, Mrs. Swan.
It's so boring in here. Can we have some fun, Sheriff? Just the two of us?
And to think you was sniffing around this office at one point. I'm lucky you was charmed by another.
You see, Sheriff, I know your secrets. And I could spread them all over. Like Miss Moria?
Don't you dare mention Mora again. Now hush.
Oh. Show me some sympathy, Sheriff. I'm a widow. A poor little widow. You forget?
They can say what they like about you, but at least you respected the sanctity of marriage.
Till death do us part.
Whoa, so how interesting was that? Eliane Swan apparently knows a secret between Miss Mora and the sheriff. Now, we don't know what that secret is, but as soon as she brings it up, the sheriff snaps and says, "Don't you dare mention her again. Now, hush." Now, that seems a little extreme for someone that's just having an affair with someone. Now, I know that's serious business, but it almost sounds as if this serial killer who's wanted would know more about a murder than an affair going on. So again, we get some very interesting details right there. Now, that's not the only bit of information we get. Now, this last bit is a little bit risky, but in order to find out the last piece of this puzzle, we're actually going to have to hogtie the sheriff and then loot him. And when you loot the sheriff, you end up getting a letter, and it says, "Letter to Curtis," which is the name of the sheriff, from M. And we know M is Maria Calthorpe. And this letter reveals some more interesting details. It is an anguished letter from an unhappy woman. And it says, "Curtis, this is too much too much. You are breaking my heart. I have disgraced myself as a wife, and now I'm disgracing myself as a Christian. How can you do this to me? Does it make you happy to see me suffer so? Are you really that sick that you take pleasure in my suffering? M. Wow, so that unlocked a completely different element to this, and I am super confused. So when she says, I have disgraced myself as a wife, I'm sure she's referring to the affair. But then she brings in her religion in here as a Christian. How can you make me do this? You're making me suffer, and do you take pleasure in seeing me suffer? What does that mean, and what is Sheriff Curtis Malloy doing to Moria Calthorpe? That is kind of interesting, and I have not a single idea what that could be implying. So if you guys have a better idea of what's going on here, please be sure to let us know in the comments down below. But I wonder if that letter was what caused the fight we heard earlier, and if that's what caused Moria to potentially be murdered by the sheriff. It's kind of what it sounds like. So like I said, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. If you have a better idea of what you think has gone on here with the Valentine Sheriff, let me know in the comments down below. But I think he murdered his mistress, and he's just going on business as usual. And I don't think a single other person in the town other than Eliane Swan knows. But anyways, that right there is the dark secret of the Valentine Sheriff that you might not have known about in Red Dead Redemption 2. Again, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Let me know what you think and more. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you like daily Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.